Hello everyone, my name is Pat. Welcome to my channel, and today I will be bringing you guys my very first 2021 book haul. I went a little crazy book shopping for the first few months of this year, so I decided I needed to do a book haul and put myself on a book buying ban because I need to control it. So we have a lot of books to cover. I have 60 plus books on this book haul. So let's get started, shall we? This is not in order of when I got them, and these are only books that I personally bought myself, that I individually bought, and these are not books that I got from book boxes. So yeah, let's get started, shall we? Okay, so the first one that I have here is Ikigai, Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life by Hector, Garcia, and Francesc. Miralles. And I have heard about this book quite a few times, usually through Instagram. So it's just a different way of looking in your life and finding happiness and meaning, and just how you want to live the rest of your life to make it more meaningful for you. So yeah, I do want to read this one. It's very short and I really like the cover too. I got this off of Target, I believe. I feel like I'm going to learn a lot from this one, and I definitely need a little bit of help with that. So, Ikigai, my first book. The next one that I have is Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, A Brief History of Humankind. I've heard a lot of people talk about this, and I just thought, this is interesting, and I do want to read something like this, where it's a brief history of everything, or a brief history of humankind. So it just talks about humanity and stuff. So it actually came a little bit folded. I don't know what happened. So yeah, so that is Sapiens. It is pretty thick. It has 500 pages, I believe, almost 480 something pages. There's some illustrations, but yeah, this will take me quite a while to read, and this is something that I do want to read kind of throughout, or in a span of a few months, just for me to, really absorb it carefully and not just forget it, because it's nonfiction and it's a history of humankind. So I'm very excited to actually get into this too. So yeah, that's our second book. Okay, the next three books are from Fredrik Backman. So I have A Man Called Uva. My grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry, and Britt-Marie was here. So these are the first three books that Fredrik Backman has written. I've been wanting to get into reading his books. It has taken me this long to do that, but I have so far only read A Man Called Uva, but I am planning on obviously getting to the rest of these books, plus also buying the rest of his books. I think I have 4 more books of his that I haven't bought yet, but I do have his latest one, which is Anxious People. So yeah, and I loved A Man Called Uva, so I'm very excited to get the rest of his books, because if they're similar to A Man Called Uva, where you really talk about love and found family and friendship and human connection, I know it's gonna be great for me, and I'm gonna get very, very emotional. So the next one that I have is Actor Age Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. I have read the first 2 books in this companion series novels following the Brown sisters, and I'm very, very excited to get into this. I'm just kind of saving it in a little while. I don't want to, it's a book that I want to read, but also a book that I don't want to finish yet, but I know I'm going to finish this really fast because I just devour her books, and I've just heard a lot of really great things for this one, just like the rest of her previous books. So yeah, I'm very excited to get into this because I read the first chapter and I can already tell I'm gonna love Eve. So yeah, next one I have is another romance novel, and that is Ship by Angie Hockman. The reason why I bought this is because a lot of people told me that it's very similar to the Unhoneymooners, which I loved, and it's also kind of enemies to lovers, kind of like Hating Game and Unhoneymooners combined, because they both work at the same company, and I think they're also kind of fighting for the same promotion. And then they go to a trip that is for also their job, because I think they're in marketing or something like that, for like a resort or something. So romance ensues, and I'm very excited because I did enjoy the Hating Game a lot, and I also really, really enjoy the Honeymooners. So just like those 2 things combined, I'm very much looking forward to this one. Okay, the next one that I have here is The Bad Feminist by Roxanne Gay. I have been wanting to get to this book as well, but it's also something that I want to take my time to read, and I know that I need to take some time to absorb each of the essays and parts of this book that I will be reading. So I'm very much looking forward to reading this one. I've heard so many good things about this, and I'm ready to be educated. So yeah. The next one that I have is A Little Princess by Francesc Hodgson Burnett. I don't know if I said it correctly. I have not read this book ever. This is a classic novel, but I have watched the cartoon animation of this one. I grew up watching that show, and I've always just loved that show. And it's very reminiscent of kind of like the Cinderella type of story where she's rich, her father died, and before she was treated like a princess, and then when her father died, there was an issue with like the inheritance and stuff, and she becomes poor, and she lived in this orphanage, and she was bullied a lot, but she remained steadfast and kind and caring for the people around her. And so I really enjoyed that one growing up. So I've been wanting to read the classic actual book itself, so I bought it, and I really like this cover, although it's leather, so it's not even vegan leather, so I don't feel very good about that, but I have it. But yeah, it's A Little Princess. And the last one for this batch is Barack Obama's newest book, which is A Promised Land. This is so heavy. I don't know why this is so heavy. Well, okay, there's quite a few photos there with like the thick heavy paper, but whoa, this is heavy. This is definitely a lot heavier than Michelle's book. I've read Michelle's book. I haven't read this one because I'm actually waiting for the audiobook to become available through my library, and I think there's about 4 weeks left, so I want to listen to it while I read it, because he's narrating the audiobook as well, so I want to get into, and this I think is longer. I think Michelle's is only like 400 pages or so, maybe a little under 500, and this one is 700 pages. Wow, I didn't expect it to be that long. But yeah, I'm very excited to read this one and get into this. So, alright, continuing on. The first one that I have here, I actually am waiting for the second book still. I have it pre-ordered in this new edition. So I have Spinadon by Elizabeth Lem. So I bought the new, I think these are the UK ones. I bought this through Blackwell, which is where I buy most of my books now. So Blackwell's, it ships free in the US. So it's kind of like Amazon, but it's UK, and plus they're UK covers, and usually UK covers are my favorites because they just look a lot prettier, like so. So I have Spinadon, so I'm waiting for, I forgot the title, but I do have it pre-ordered. It's coming out in June, so yes, I really like this one. So I'm very excited for this one. This is like a Mulan retelling, and I know there's a lot of stuff here, like political intrigue and some magic, I believe, as well. So very excited to get to this one. Alright, the next one is another order that I got from Blackwell's, because it's a recent like re-release, reprint, recovered editions of this book, and that is We Hunt the Flame. Oh, We Free the Stars and We Hunt the Flame. So I have these beautiful covers that I'm so happy that I got. So it's a lot thicker than I expected. It's actually smaller, but it's thick. So I'm very excited to get into this. My copy of We Free the Stars actually came in a little bit torn right here at the top. I don't know what happened, but yeah. Anyway, it's very small. You can barely see it at all. So yeah, I'm very excited to get into this one. I've heard so many good things about this, and I know this is adapted to a TV series, I believe, or like a set of movies. I believe it's a TV series, I think, not movies, yeah. So I'm very excited to get into this and read it. And the covers are so pretty. I'm so excited for this one. It's been done too, because I've heard so many good things about them, and I need more fantasy duologies, you know? Okay, the next one is Electric Kingdom by David Arnold, and I don't exactly remember what made me buy this, but I remember seeing this from Priest Project, Reagan. So I heard her talk about it and I was like, that sounds like up my alley, and so I bought it. And it's a sci-fi fantasy standalone about a flu that sweeps the globe, and I think it kills like a lot of people. So it's kind of like that, a post-apocalyptic, post-pandemic kind of thing. And I heard her talk about this and I was intrigued, and so I bought it, and it just came out. It literally just came out, I think, last month. It doesn't say here, but yeah, I know that this actually had to pre-order it because it was like a few days before the actual release of the book when I ordered this one. So yeah, so it says a post-apocalyptic nesting doll of a tale. So we're expecting a lot of layers here. But yeah, I'm very excited about this one, and the cover looks very interesting. Like, it looks like they could be traveling through time. The effect of that, like the tunnel thing. Anyway, very excited about that one. The next one that I have is The Humans by Matt Haig. I've been wanting to get into Matt Haig as well. He's kind of like Fredrik Backman in terms of his writing, but he has more of like a sci-fi fantasy element to his books. So I've been wanting to read his books. I know he has a couple of middle grade, but I don't really want to get into his middle grades. But I do want to get to The Humans, and then I also want to read the Midnight Library because it sounds very interesting and something that I feel like that I think about a lot in terms of, you know, the possibility of having like this different types of lives depending on like the different choices that you could have made that will change your future. So I want to get into this first before I get to the Midnight Library. So yeah, I know this is like an alien, first contact, alien contemporary, but more of a comedic type thing. So very excited to get into this one too. I've heard so many good things about this one as well. Okay, the next one, House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. I've been wanting to get into this book for years now. I remember my friend reading this when I was still in university, and I heard that she really loved it. I remember that she really enjoyed it, and I remember seeing it and seeing that it's a mixed media type of thing. It's like a book within a book, and that it's horror, and I wasn't really into those things before. And so I bought this one because I was interested and found out that this was Books and Lawless Book Club's pick for March. I was like, hey, that's perfect. So I bought it, and I liked it for the most part. I rated it 2.75 stars. I know that a lot of people love this book, like one of their top favorite books of all time, which I understand. And I also know that there's quite a few people who like rate this 1 star and they hated it, which I also understand. But I like this more than I don't like it. There's only like one part that I really didn't like about this one, which was Johnny's perspective. I felt like his part was completely unnecessary, and it took away from my enjoyment of the rest of the book because I didn't care about what he wanted to say, his story. I don't care. So I'm gonna be rereading this, but only the main parts of the story, like not Johnny's parts. So yeah, that is that. Next one is another duology. That is A Crown of Wishes and Stardust Queen. So it's Stardust Queen series. This is the first book and this is the second book. I bought this one from Half Price Books, I believe, or Second Sale. I think it was Second Sale. And I thought they were the same editions. They're not. This one has the short cover. I don't know why they do that. Like, it's not pretty. It doesn't do anything for the book. Anyway, so I have these 2 different editions. I mean, they kind of are matching. I feel like this one is just like, you know how sometimes they have the same cover, but then they have editions that have this flap thing here. I think it's kind of like that, but this one is soft touch, this one isn't. And this is from St. Martin's Griffin and Wednesday Books, but the actual cover matches, I believe. Or maybe not, or maybe they just kind of go together like that, but they're kind of the same size too, so I'm not really complaining. And yeah, I'm very excited to get in this one too, another duology, fantasy duology. And I know I heard a lot of really good things about this, so yeah. You can literally see my shelves emptying because I bought quite a lot of books this year so far and really filled up my shelves. So let's continue, shall we? Okay, so the first one, actually the first 2 books here I got last year, but this one came out I think late last year or earlier this year, so I'm counting this as one whole oh no, this is the last book. This is the first book. The red one is the first book. So this is the Shadow of the Fox series. I believe that's what the series is called, by Julie Kagawa. So I have Shadow of the Fox, Soul of the Sword, and Night of the Dragon. And this is a dragon book, I think, but also like Japanese mythology fantasy series. And I'm very excited to get into this because I really enjoyed Julie Kagawa's Immortal Rules series. I believe that's called, the vampire series, and I really loved it. It's one of the first like vampire books that are like gory and like more truer to how vampires were portrayed in, you know, the first few books released about vampires. So I really enjoyed that one. So I'm really excited to get into this too, and the covers are so pretty. I got them all from Blackwell's as well. So yeah, that is Night of the Dragon, right? Okay, so the next 3 books are part of the trilogy as well. So I have the First Law series, so I have The Blade Itself, and then I have Before They Are Hanged, and Last Argument of Rings by Joe Abercrombie. So as a fantasy reader, I've heard a lot about Joe Abercrombie, so we wanted to get in this one as well. And recently a lot of people have been reading the first book, The Blade itself, and I thought, hey, I want to pick it up too because I want to read it someday. So I actually searched for it. I found out that it was a trilogy, so I decided to buy the rest of the trilogies as well in these gorgeous covers that kind of look like they're stained old paper. So I'm very excited to get into this one. These books are heavy. I don't know, like, these are heavy. I know that they're thick, but they're also really tall, and they're just, I don't know, I think the paper itself is like heavy. So yeah, I have the trilogy right here. Very excited to get into this one. The next one is another trilogy, and that is the Frostblood trilogy. I believe that's the name of the entire series. So I have Frostblood, Fireblood, and NIghtblood. I've heard a couple of people talk about this a few weeks ago, and so I decided to pick this up. These are all secondhand books. Well, I think the third one is new, but the first two are secondhand. So I'm very excited to get in this one too. I've also started seeing this on Book Talk, so that is really great. I know this is enemies to lovers, and there's a little bit of spice in there, so I'm very excited to get into this one. So it's really amazing. Plus the covers are so pretty. I'm a sucker for a good premise with like tropes that I love and great covers. So bought this one. And then I have the Bone Witch series. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, so I have the Bone Witch, which is the first book. Look at that cover, it's so pretty. And then the second book, the Shadowglass, and the third, the Heart Forger. So this is by Chupeco, which is a Filipino author, and so I'm so excited to get into this one. I've been hearing this from a lot of Filipino booktubers, book bloggers as well, so I've been wanting to get into this one, and the covers are just so pretty. Okay, they're so pretty. So wanting to get in this one. I know a lot of people love this series too, and I think it's kind of dark, grimdark kind of fantasy, so I'm very excited about that. So my shelves are getting crazy because I'm taking up quite a few of them. Okay, so let's move on, shall we? So I recently bought the Percy Jackson box set because I've been wanting to reread this book series because this is something I actually grew up, well, not really grew up, I didn't grow up with this series. I read this when I was in high school, but I remember really loving it and devouring the entire series and watching the movie as well. So I really want to get back into this one. This is a middle grade, so I know this is probably not going to be gonna have the same experience with me reading this one the first time, obviously, but I'm very excited with this one still because I just love the world that Rick Riordan has created with this one and the characters, because we see them grow up and change, and I'm very excited to get this one because I also bought, let me get it, The Lost Hero for the Heroes of Olympus series. So I have all 5 books here. They're very thick. Okay, so I have the entire series. So we have The Lost Hero, Son of Neptune, Mark of Athena, House of Hades, and Blood of Olympus. I remember reading this and just seeing the characters that I read in the first series grow up and meet new people, and seeing how their relationships has developed and changed and kind of stayed the same as well, has like made me so emotional. I feel like this is the one that I'm more excited to get into after I read the first series because I don't know, for some reason I had much more of an emotional connection with the characters when we get here. And I think it's because here Percy Jackson lost his memories, and I was very emotional about that because not Percy, and he's still the same. He just forgot, what had happened to him. And so it made me a little bit emotional seeing him just being kind of the same, but also not acting the same towards people that we know he cares about. So yeah, I am very excited to get in this one as well. Let me put it back. I'm not even gonna attempt to carry these books for the thumbnail, just some of them. Because I cannot. That's 60 books, okay? It's probably as tall as me. Should I do a stack? I'm gonna try to do a stack, and then maybe I'll make that into a thumbnail. Yeah, I think I thought of that already. Okay, but I forgot. I forget things. Okay, so I also bought the next series in this whole Chronicles series from Rick Riordan. I have Apollo's series. So this is Trials of Apollo. So I have The Tyrant's Tomb, The Burning Maze, Dark Prophecy, and the last one is, oh no, The Hidden Oracle is the first one. So okay, so I have the first book, which is The Hidden Oracle, the second is Dark Prophecy, and the third is The Burning Maze and The Tyrant's Tomb. Actually, The Tyrant's Tomb was a pre-order because I want them all in paperback, not hardback, because hardbacks, number one, they're more expensive and they're just a lot harder to read than paperbacks, and they're all soft-touch too, so I'm very happy about that. And yeah, I'm very excited to get into this one. I remember reading, I think I read the first book here, but I never actually got to reading the rest of the series because they were coming out. I was reading it as they come out, and I can't do that because I usually can't, because I forget things. So I decided to buy them and read them all and binge read them, and I will be doing this new series on my channel, or this new vlog series on my channel where I read book series, where I binge read book series. So yeah, these are all gonna be part of that, because might as well make a video of it and, you know, reminisce, and just I feel like I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love the reread, so I want to film it too so I can remember it. And then I also have the first book in the Magnus Chase series, which is The Sword of Summer. I do have the second book, and I think the third book as well, pre-ordered. Again, they're not coming out. They're coming out in paperback too, but I have to wait for them for a little bit. But that's fine, because I think this is following Magnus Chase, which is I was gonna say Percibeth, Annabeth's cousin, but this is following Norse mythology. So even though we kind of have a connection to the first set of books here, it's Norse mythology now, so I can probably read this one before the rest of the books in the series come out. I think there's only 2 more for this one, so I'm gonna be reading that one as well. I have that one. Also, I have Shadow and Bone ordered. The thing is, I ordered it online and something happened. Apparently there was a back order and they sent me a notification, but the notification that I got was that it was already shipped and was supposed to arrive here May 30. I waited for a week, messaged them, and I asked for a refund, and I just bought them again. So actually those are arriving today. First 2 books are arriving today, so I'm gonna include them kind of here as well. So I have Shadow and Bone trilogy that I have ordered as well. I have a few more coming in, but I am putting myself on a book buying ban because I just can't anymore. This is a lot of books. Like, my shelf is emptying out because I'm taking out a lot of books. I'm not even including the Book of the Month books. Should I include them now? Okay, so I have 8 books for this year so far from Book of the Month. Should I include it? Okay, let's include it. So I got that wrong. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 books, not 8. Let's get into this because this is a lot of books too. Okay, alright, okay. The first one I have is The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai. I've already read this one. It's kind of like an enemies to lovers thing. I really enjoyed this one, so it was fun. It was really good. Okay, the next one is Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala. This is by a Filipino author, and this is, I think, this is my April Book of the Month book, and I'm very excited to get this one. I actually pre-ordered this one as well a few weeks ago through bookshop.org, and I forgot about it. I realized I've been seeing this a lot, and I was like, I wanted to get this one. I don't know if I have it. Let me just order it. So I ordered it twice, which is fine, you know. I can probably just, you know, gift it or to someone else because it's a Filipino book anyway. So I also have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I read this one 2 years ago, and I remember and I really love this. It's one of my top favorite books of all time, and I don't have a physical copy, so I decided to get myself one because yeah, and I have Daisy Jones and the Six in the Book of the Month edition, so I decided let me just get this one, the Book of the Month edition as well. So yeah, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Oh gosh, okay. If you haven't read this one, read it. It's so good. It feels like she's a real person. It's kind of like Marilyn Monroe type of actress. So the next one that I have is The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I remember reading The Nightingale, I think 2 years ago as well, and I'm loving it so much, making me bawl my eyes out and cry. So I decided to pick this one as well. Actually didn't pick this one when it first came out in Book of the Month because I was like, I don't want an emotional book right now, but I decided, hey, maybe I want to pick it up one day. And it's pretty thick as well. I think there's 500 plus pages for this one. No, 400 plus. Wow, it looks really thick though. 450 pages. This is set in America instead of France. why did I say it that way? Which is the Nightingale one, where it's set, and is also another historical fiction. We're following a family too, so I know I'm gonna cry. Okay, the next one that I have is The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. This is pretty short, and when I first saw this, it reminded me a lot of that book series where she's very good with making medicines. It's fantasy. Oh gosh, it's very popular too. It's like I think it's a 4-book series. But yeah, that reminded me. This reminded me of that first. But then I read the premise, and I think this one is they make potions for men who cheat. This is set in the early 1900s, I think, in London or something like that. And yeah, I remember reading it and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna read that one. Okay, the next one is The Son of the Crane by Joanne He. Now, I heard that this one is supposed to be a series, but there were some issues with the publishers, and so this actually can read as a standalone as well. But I know that the author is coming out with a new book series, but I've been wanting to get into this one too because it sounds very interesting. So, Son of the Crane as well. The next one, another book that I've already read, The Secret History by Dawn Tartt. I read this one, I think 2-3 years ago, and I don't remember it being this thick. I remember borrowing it from the library, and it's like a short book, and I didn't remember it being 500 plus pages, but I guess it is. Like, this one is 550 pages, and the font is pretty small too. But yes, this is the Dark Academia book, and I actually discovered Dark Academia through this book. I realized, hey, that sounds like a good kind of premise to me, like school, murder, kind of mystery, academia. Yes, so I really enjoyed this one as well. I know there's a lot of mixed reviews on this one, but when I first read this one, Dark Academia wasn't a thing yet, or like it was only starting to be a thing. I just heard a lot of people talking about this book, so I thought, hey, maybe I'll pick it up, and I really enjoyed this one. So that one. Also, I have this trilogy, and this is a very popular trilogy, or well, the first book is, what is the first book? I think Practical Magic. I think that's the first book that was released, and I think Rules of Magic are like prequels. It's a prequel, and this one is another prequel as well, I think. But again, these are all Book of the Month books, and these are very popular books. This was released, it doesn't even have a year in the back. I think this was first released very early in the 2000s, I believe. 1995, before I was even born. Wow, I got that really wrong. Okay, so this one is first published in 1995. I know there was a movie, TV series that is very popular based on this book. So it's actually something that I've been wanting to get into. I mean, look at that cover too, and witches. I love a good witchy book. And then I think the next one that came out is Rules of Magic, and yeah, this one is 2017, and then this one is 2020, Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman. So yeah, so those are all of the Book of the Month books that I've got so far this year, and those are all of the books that I got throughout the month of January to March for this year. I bought a lot of books. That's why I am putting myself on a book buying pen, because I have to, for the sake of my bank account and the sake of my life, so I don't go into debt or something like that. That is it for this book haul. Thankfully, I have it under 35 minutes, and I can definitely cut out quite a few parts of this out. So yay, we got through all 60 plus books, 70 plus books, I think now, because I had the Book of the Month books. But yeah, hello, coming back here because I actually forgot to talk about a few more books. I listed it down, but I didn't see. I don't know, my brain just refused to read that one. So I'm here. Okay, so I have here the Seven Realms series and also the Heir Chronicles series. It's a little hard to take them out, so I also hauled these ones. I also have the rest of Cinda Williams-Chimen's books, but these ones I got years ago. I think this one I got late last year. And yeah, I've been wanting to read her books because she's a very well-known fantasy author, and she has all these amazing books that a lot of people love. So I decided to get her first series, which is this one, and then I think this one comes after, and this and this are in the same world, I believe, or something like that. But yeah, So I have the Heir Chronicles and the Seven Realms series and the Shadow Realms series. So yeah, but these are the ones that I got this year. They're all used, you can see. These are former book library copies. So yeah, you gotta add 5 and then 9 more books to that one. So I guess 80 books now. Yeah, so on to the outro. That is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me which ones you guys are most excited for me to read. Again, all of the series that I have here, I will be doing a reading vlog. I'm currently doing one right now with the Gracing Realms series. Yeah, I'm very excited for that one too. So all the series ones. So even the duologies, I will be doing a reading vlog for that one because binge reading is fun for me. That is it for this video. Again, let me know what you guys are most excited for me to get into. Let me know which ones you want me to read first. So I will see you guys on my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.